Hey folks, Jeff of World Class Bullshitters here. Just wanted to let you know about Incarnate Studios. You haven't heard of them? Well, they help sponsor the show and keep us afloat. They make really great t-shirts, like Shitbusters, which is the official protest shirt of the 2016 farce. They also got Donald Trump, blow hard, and Hillary Clinton, blow hard too, blow harder. Poo and politics not your thing? They got shirts from video games, TV shows, movies, horror, and the best part is, they add new shirts twice a week, so keep checking back to see what's coming next. IncarnateStudios.com. And don't forget the hyphen. Welcome to episode 2 of Ring Rust. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me is...
the man with the tan and the original plan, Dion motherfucking in-your-face Pork Chop Express Green.
Pork Chop Express. So, what is the original plan? What was it,
Well, the original plan was, get born, grow up in a small town, take over that small town, and move up. That was the original plan. As a brother from, a very chocolate mother and a weird daddy, that was the original plan. But seeing as how I went to college, met a lot of people, got a white girl pregnant, had a kid, it's changed a little bit. But, the overall plan still exists.
I was going to compliment you saying that you achieved your plan relatively early, so good job.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I try to aspire above my standing.
So would you like to hear about somebody or something that's not doing a good job?
I would love to.
The WWE.
Ooh, I would say I'm surprised, but then I'd be lying to our viewers. I don't want to do that.
And in particular, Roman Reigns, the shittiest WWE champion since Bob Backlund.
Ooh. So, are we saying shittier than Diesel?
At least Diesel was a cool dude. Roman Reigns is a bitch. He wore colored contacts.
He's so boring. Yeah, I agree with that.
At least Diesel can cut a promo. And Kevin Nash is the fucking man in real life. So.
He is. He's a fucking really cool dude. And Roman Reigns maybe, but at least like Diesel, as shitty as WrestleMania 11 was, it's like at least people wanted him to be champion at some point.
I feel like Roman Reigns would sign your autograph and take a picture with you, but he would talk shit to you while you're doing it and make you feel bad about yourself. Kevin Nash would just be like, "What's up, dude?"
Would Roman Reigns charge you $20?
Well, his name is Roman Reigns.
So give him $20.
A fucking Roman Reigns! There's another one that podcast did called The Joe Cronin Show.
Uh-huh.
Have I told you what the lyrics are for the other one?
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm not going to sing it because it's just beyond gay, but it goes, Roman Reigns, you're my man. I want to see you naked. Give me that Superman punch in my rectum. Give me that Superman punch in my rectum. I don't care if your whole fist goes up my asshole, Roman Reigns.
Oh, that is so fitting for the Joe Cronin show.
And then it goes, la la la.
We love you, Joe Cronin.
I really do. That dude's legit. I'll give him credit.
He's a funny dude. I like him a lot.
The last couple weeks have been kind of blah, but overall, I'm not going to unsubscribe from this.
Yeah, I mean, it's the summer, which everyone knows is the super slow time in wrestling at this point. So,
But we picked a weird time to start Ring Rust in the middle of the fucking dry period.
Well, actually, I like to think of it as it's an excuse for wrestling fans to get back into wrestling during the fucking summer months, because you have a show like Ring Rust, who not only brings it real, but talks so much shit and doesn't give a shit about people who care about, oh my god, the IWC, fuck you. We're still going to say some shit. Deal with it.
Oh yeah, we're never going to be just following the whole fucking IWC script. We love CM Punk, we hate The Rock, blah, blah, blah. No. Ring Rust is a different show.
Exactly.
And the only wrestler that Dion truly hates is Bret Hart.
This is true.
So anyway, we're talking about shitty wrestlers that we don't like. This story comes from Nick Paglino of WrestleZone. He said that WWE sources claim Roman Reigns never apologized to the locker room. Said an early report today from the Wrestling Observer, which the Wrestling Observer is the shittiest thing ever. It's like, this may happen, this could happen, it's rumored to happen. But, like, I could say, it's rumored to happen that Donald Trump's going to shit a rocket tomorrow. Well, that's as credible as the fucking Wrestling Observer. But anyway, they said that WWE ordered Roman Reigns to apologize to the locker room following his 30-day suspension. But, according to a source within WWE, it never happened. Are you surprised?
To be surprised, actually, not a pun intended there, but actually, yeah, I am surprised that he didn't, because I feel like at this point, the company's doing everything that they can to get him over. And as an effect of that, I feel like that he, as a person, would do everything that he can to get the locker room behind him. And as much as he would have fucked up all the shit he talked about the fans, as far as, okay, I'm going to do my job and get paid, all the shit that WWE essentially talked when they were saying that he's the guy, this is the plan, we understand that the Royal Rumble for 2015 didn't work out, we're going to stick with the plan. He would do everything that he could at this point to get the locker room behind him. So I'm very surprised that he would go into WrestleMania, go into Roadblock as the Golden Boy, and not try and save as much face as possible. So I am very surprised he didn't apologize to the locker room.
You're talking about Roman Reigns and the WWE, how they do things for him. Like, we went to WrestleMania this year.
Yep.
My God, that crowd hated Roman Reigns, but they even altered the audio. I mean, back in the day, if a wrestler got booed, a wrestler got fucking booed. They just the older Vince McMahon gets, the more stubborn he gets, and the more stubborn he gets, the more we suffer as fans.
Yeah.
The Roman Reigns experiment is over. John Cena ain't the greatest of all time. That's okay. You didn't watch Raw. I did. JBL and Mike Cole kept going on about how John Cena is the greatest of all time, and that's now the John Cena legacy. I'm the greatest of all time. John Cena, if you ever listen to this show, fuck you. You're not the greatest of all time. You do not deserve another title reign. That is Ric Flair's record. You don't deserve it. You're not in the same league as Ric Flair. Like, honestly, if I'm ranking WWE champions and the prestige they brought to the belt, you're at the fucking close to the bottom. You turned the title belt into a fucking ornament. It spun. It was a fucking album cover.
Yes.
You ruined the prestige of the WWE championship. If there's a blight on the WWE championship history, it's you and your existence.
And another thing I kind of want to address when you talk about the prestige of the championship, there has never been, outside of turning it into an MTV prop, that would have been cool for about a month. I think if that were the championship, Christian whoever destroys that belt, they go back to an actual championship belt, that would have been fine. But to stick with it was a mistake in of itself. But as far as John Cena, again, Ric Flair's record is important because he did a huge part of that as a bad guy. Which is, again, I know a lot of wrestlers love playing the bad guy. It's easier to get the crowd against you than for you. But for you to be a world champion 16 times and a lot of them be as the fucking bad guy is hard to fucking do. It's very hard to continue to be multiple times play that villain so you can either one put a guy over. You serve the title, you serve the business. John Cena literally being the good guy this entire time, and going back to your point, does not do the title, it doesn't do the business, it doesn't do anyone else any fucking good.
John Cena and Roman Reigns are like the exception to the rule, and I don't like that. I know people don't like that, and it doesn't make any sense because wrestling has been done a certain way. And it's cool to change up conventional things to keep it fresh, but John Cena and Roman Reigns, the way they're booked, spits in the face of logic. It doesn't ever make sense. Like, I've been going back and I've been watching Raws, SmackDowns, and pay-per-views from the year 2000. I do maybe 5 episodes a week. It's sad that those episodes of Raw and SmackDown, which were just television shows, are more exciting and entertaining than WrestleMania in 2016. And it comes from back in the day, there were logical stories. There were things that wrestling characters did and were. For example, The Rock and Triple H. They started in 1997. They started to feud. The Rock won his IC belt from Triple H. Okay, they feuded into 98 with The Nation and DX. And they feuded in again in the later 98 over the Intercontinental title, which ended at SummerSlam. Then as soon as The Rock became the WWE Champion, The Rock and Triple H feuded a little bit more. They had an I Quit match on a Raw after the Royal Rumble that year. And then they kind of went away. But then when Triple H got into the WWF title picture, him and The Rock feuded again. And then they even feuded all the way till 2002. So that kind of feud, they always were like at odds. They weren't friends. They didn't like each other. And it worked out good. That was two things, those characters, they were always in competition to be the best. They never changed it up. John Cena and Roman Reigns either don't have a character. In the case of Roman Reigns, he goes like, I'm the guy. Well, that's all you are, is just a guy. You aren't a fucking pro wrestler. You aren't an entertainer. You're just a dude. You hold a prop. You stand in a ring. You're only there because you're in good shape and Vince McMahon or you blow each other. I don't know how that goes.
You kind of look like a badass. But even going back, and I think that of all the ongoing rivalries, that one is better, in my opinion, than Stone Cold and Vince McMahon, because, you know, Roman or John Cena or even anyone, you know, post 2008 don't have that rivalry because they're always trying to make it into not a TV show about a wrestling show, but a show about a show that's about wrestling. You know what I mean? And so, you know, John Cena, and, you know, they're gonna always point out John Cena and Edge, John Cena and Randy Orton, which, you know, again, it's not gonna compare very well to Triple H and The Rock, but at least with John Cena and Edge, it works so well because, you know, Edge came from the Attitude Era, so Edge essentially was the poster boy for the old wrestling fans, and John Cena was the poster boy for what Vince wanted the new age of wrestling to be. And to an extent, even though they fucked Edge over a lot of times, you know, it worked because it was the new wrestling versus there was some type of realistic real world application that you could compare to it, because back then it was, you know, this new wrestling versus old wrestling. So people paid attention to it. And then they got into fucking Randy Orton, who was just the typical bad guy, versus John Cena, the all-American, drink-milking, vitamin-taking American hero. And then you get to Roman Reigns, who, instead of copying that formula of Rock, Triple H, and Cena, Edge, they want to copy that bullshit between Cena and Orton, where it's just, we'll write one guy as the good guy, we'll write the other guy as the bad guy, and wrestling fans will just watch it. And you can tell, but it's so inorganic that, you know, especially when it came to fucking, you know, the small rivalry between Reigns and the Nation of not the Nation, but the fucking it was King Barrett and Sheamus. What do they call themselves?
Oh, League of Nations.
League of Nations. They're trying to build him up. Oh, he's beating 4 guys. It is not organic where he beats 4 dudes every fucking week. That you don't buy that. You don't buy one dude versus 4 for a whole month straight. That doesn't make any sense.
But Dion, it's 1 versus all.
Oh my god, it's just so dumb.
Oh, you know, when you brought up the Edge Cena thing, that was Cena's best feud. That was one of Edge's best feuds. I mean, it's hard to determine who was better. And real quick, if I'm gonna compare Cena and Roman Reigns, I'm gonna go John Cena. At least he had somewhat of a believable character. But the reason I bring up believable character is, back in the day, when those wrestlers were in a feud, you thought they hated each other. Like if they saw each other in the back, they fought. Yep. If they saw each other at like a restaurant, they were gonna fight. Like, they wanted to kick the shit out of each other. I liked when wrestling wasn't governed by, like, oh, we're anti-bullying, we're, you know, we're Make-A-Wish, we're this, we're that. Look, I get that that's a way to make money and appeal to stupid people, but those stupid people are only going to watch your product for proverbially 5 minutes. Guys like you and I are going to watch that shit. I'm almost on 20 years. You're almost on 20 years. We're talking most of our lives, not just adult lives, our lives in general. And you're alienating us. And the thing is, when you talk about Roman Reigns and one versus all and all that shit, there's nothing believable about it. I was watching an old episode of SmackDown where The Rock got beat up by Benoit, Triple H, and Kurt Angle. And guess what? The Rock lost. 1, 2, 3, the match was fucking over. Roman Reigns, oh no. Roman Reigns would fucking spear and Superman punch his way out of any situation. If they try to hit him with the DX Express, he would somehow Superman punch that bus and pin it for the 1, 2, 3. Everything Roman Reigns does is bad.
Yeah.
Like, twice in a row, he has fucking put the brakes on a WrestleMania. WrestleMania 31 was a really good show. Then the main event, and then thankfully it was saved by Seth Rollins. But the 32, we knew this was coming. We knew that we had to suffer through this Roman Reigns reign that was coming tonight. And it took Triple H to fucking do it. And you know what? The crowd wasn't even against Triple H. It was all booing Roman Reigns' bitch ass.
Well, not only that, the thing about WrestleMania that was so hilarious, you know, WWE's at the point now where they're not coming with anything new. They're trying to fall back on old tropes to get people over. So with Roman Reigns, it was, well, we don't have Vince McMahon as the bad guy. We will create a Vince McMahon clone in The Authority. So we're going to have his daughter direct link to Vince McMahon and Triple H, one of the greatest villains of all time. That's going to organically get Roman Reigns over. The problem being that, one, how is a guy like Roman Reigns, who's not that smart, who isn't that talented, going to pull a Stone Cold Steve Austin and overcome a clone of Vince McMahon? Doesn't make very much sense. Then you get to WrestleMania where, and I actually kind of applaud WWE for picking Triple H, because you're outside of Brock Lesnar, which they tried at 31, you don't believe a villain in which, you know, there's not a bad guy that you'll believe that Roman Reigns will beat and get people over.
And that's WWE's fault, because
exactly,
no one can be booked strong unless you're like the guy. So Roman Reigns and John Cena are the only two dudes that get booked well, and they become boring. Remember, dude, there was a time in wrestling where there were like 10 contenders for the title. Like, if we go back to the late 99 through 2000, at any time in the WWF, you could have had Stone Cold and The Rock and Triple H and Kurt Angle and The Undertaker and Kane and Mankind.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Chris
7,
Jericho.
And Chris Jericho 8. Chris Benoit 9, because Chris Benoit was a contender for the title for a while. And let's see who's the 10th guy that could have been the WWF champion that never was.
You could probably say Eddie Guerrero or in 99. So you could even, well, I mean, he would have been a deep sleeper, but fuck.
Let's throw in. Let's just throw in a 10th guy. We'll just say there's a 10th man. But there were
right.
at a point in time where there were 10 legitimate contenders for the WWF Championship, and they were good and bad guys. Yeah, Big Show. We'll put Big Show in there, because he was world champion a couple times.
Yep.
But no, there was a time where that was a possibility, and each of those guys had unique characters, unique traits, and they weren't booked on a 50-50 thing. Take The Rock and Stone Cold, for example. Stone Cold beat The Rock 9 out of 10 times. But it didn't kill The Rock. You know, The Rock went off and did his own shit. And it's funny, if you go back and watch when he's not even in the main event title picture, he gets the biggest pops, he's the biggest deal. You can get a character over by building a strong character, and then you can put him anywhere in the show and have other feuds and storylines going on. WWE does not do that. That's why you got guys like Adam Rose and Fandango and fucking Tyler Breeze in the WWE who just are bodies, you know?
Right.
No, the only guy that got himself over with a character was Zack Ryder in the WWE. Fucking punished him because they didn't get him over. He got himself over. I think ego and pride are Vince McMahon's two biggest faults. And he's so old, it's not going to happen. But let's say Vince McMahon was 20 years younger and he was in the exact same position business-wise. I think he would live to see the WWE go down, not out of business, but like he would watch the numbers drop, and these 100,000 seat arenas for WrestleMania would become a thing of the past, because wrestling is on its way out.
Well, and I don't think it's not just pride, but it's also he's just so out of touch. And I know that that's kind of the thing that these asshole new age fans, when they go back and blame, oh, well, you guys always want to harp on the Attitude Era. Well, there's a reason for that. It worked. And what makes Vince McMahon, he's not out of touch because of what he succeeded at in the Attitude. He's out of touch because, you have to remember, we're not so far removed from the 80s that, oh, well, this is a new idea. No, it's fucking not. He's trying to make a new Hulk Hogan, and he's forgetting that what made the Attitude Era awesome was it was so different. It changed from being the take your vitamins and say your prayers guy to being that I beat up on my boss. That's what people wanted to see in the 90s. People who were pissed off and didn't want to see your run-of-the-mill hero in wrestling. But for some reason, according to Vince and Stephanie and in the stockbrokers at WWE, they think that people want to see some type of superhero who overcomes all the odds and beats all the bad guys. Wrestling fans are a lot more realistic. Sometimes you get the shit kicked out of you and you fucking lose.
And the thing is, when people go about the Attitude Era, they want to use it as a pejorative term, and they only want to bring up, I chop your PP, or all the dumb moments. If anything, if somebody said, Jeff, you have the magical power to bring back wrestling to a certain era, I'd pick the year 2000. There were violent matches, but there were strong stories. There were comedy elements that did work. Everybody's character had motivations. I just want everyone to have a purpose. I mean, I firmly believe that wrestling was great from 99 to 02, 03 to 07, or 03 through 07, or no, sorry, 03 through 06 was awesome as well.
I'd say 07 was good. Kind of a...
07 is the beginning of the end of my
Had a lot of shitty moments in 07.
Oh, 07 is a shit year in wrestling. I'll give it to this. To pinpoint where I think wrestling dies in 07 is WrestleMania 23. It's a solid WrestleMania.
John Cena beating Shawn Michaels is where I pinpoint that.
He beat DX 2 years in a row, back to back.
Yep.
Everything. See, that's a problem. Everything was put for Cena to overcome everything, and then you had Randy Orton. Then feud a little bit in 08, remember, over the title at WrestleMania? Yeah, Orton came out on top, but Orton was always booked weak, and he always was
cheated. Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, cheating, to be a good heel, Orton was a good heel when he wasn't facing John Cena. He was a good heel when he was going up against Triple H. Talk about a fucking awesome build to a shit match.
Right.
Orton, Triple H, WrestleMania 25 was complete horseshit. But my God, I remember sitting in the dorm room with you and Garrett back in 09 thinking, this is going to be the greatest match ever. This feud has me so pumped. It's like The Rock and Stone Cold. I'm so into this. And you looked at me like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
But you were pumped too.
Yeah.
It wasn't just me fanboying out because I'm on my way to WrestleMania that year. We both acknowledged how good this feud and build-up was. And when you put John Cena and Roman Reigns into the picture, you don't get that kind of excitement because there's no element of surprise. It's like when you watch a Cena match, it's not, oh my God, who's going to win? It's how is Cena going to get beat up and then come back at the last minute and then win with one fucking move. And with Roman Reigns, it's how many moves is he going to get hit with and then he's going to come back and win with 2 fucking moves. They're the same guy. It's like, remember that joke on Family Guy where those 2 girls squeeze together and they become one fat girl and the narrator goes, that's where fat girls come from?
Yeah.
Roman Reigns and John Cena are just the same turd separated.
Mm-hmm.
Roman Reigns is a little darker than Cena, but they're essentially the same character. And I'm dreading the day that they fucking feud, because that'll be the most boring goddamn feud in history. It'll have stupid fucking promos, because Roman Reigns is like a Neanderthal. That guy can't fucking cut a promo to save his life. He's like, remember that time he was backstage and he fucked up and froze on
Oh
live
my
TV?
God, yeah. Jesus Christ.
He's not ready for prime time. What they should have done is he should have been in the Dean Ambrose position. It should have been Seth Rollins doing what he did, because that dude's the fucking man. Then Dean Ambrose should have went out for the title, and he was ready too. Roman Reigns still ain't ready. I can't believe he's a 3-time WWE champion.
Well, and the bad thing is, it's that's the other thing, is that WWE is so. They'll preach about unpredictability. They'll preach about grabbing the brass ring. Dean Ambrose and Seth did that. And I get that outside, had the audience not shit on Roman Reigns, Seth never would have been champion. But, in NXT, Seth was a great NXT champion. He was a great heel when he won Money in the Bank. Fucking Dean Ambrose, when he was John Moxley in, FCW, he was fucking awesome. He would cut great fucking promos. In FCW, John Moxley, when he was in the Indies, he was fucking a phenomenal asshole. And then he's in the fucking Shield, and it's literally him and Seth stealing the show. But for some reason, WWE preaches about stealing the brass ring and being, setting an example and all this bullshit. Even back then, no one at one point said, "Oh, the guy out of the Shield is Roman Reigns." Not one person said that. Not one person.
Like you said, he looks like a pseudo badass. That's why he's in the position he's in. Now, if we go historically, a lot of the main event guys did have a certain tough guy look, but they backed it up both verbally and physically in the ring. I'm gonna lay off The Rock for a minute because he's my favorite wrestler. I can talk about him all fucking day. But Stone Cold looked like a dude you wouldn't want to fuck with.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, he had an earring, and yeah, his jean shorts were way too tight. But that dude could talk you into a fucking corner and then kick your ass in that corner. Roman Reigns is like, blah, 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 and then I'm going to do these like really scripted, fake-looking moves. Like, I'm going to throw my arm up in the air and punch you like Superman. And what's funny? Like, Roman Reigns and Superman are both stupid characters. At least nowadays, Superman's a stupid character. And, WWE just picks the worst things. When you mentioned about the stockholders and this live superhero shit, you know what? We live in a world where if we want to see a real-life superhero, we'll go to the movie theaters. Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, all those guys are now, thanks to technology and the way it was written, those characters are on the big screen. We don't need these larger-than-life superheroes. No, in wrestling, I think what we need is great storytelling on a weekly basis and these emotional payoffs. Like, dude, 05, Batista Triple H. Fucking awesome feud, dude.
Yeah.
And the thing is, that feud had a fucking build and a story years back.
Yes.
Batista and Evolution. Then Orton kind of tried to separate from Evolution. Orton got his shit pushed in. Then by the time Batista wanted to get separated, he fucking pushed the shit back at Triple H, and they had a great fucking feud.
And that's the other thing, Batista can fucking wrestle. You are never going to, and that's what pissed me off about 32. Triple H is never going to be the guy that is, even though he can be a great bad guy on the mic, he can come up with ideas that make him seem, jumping a guy from behind, using his position. He's never going to be a dude that delivers in the ring. Batista can wrestle. WrestleMania 21 the match was decent. The build-up was awesome. Batista wrestled his ass off. Randy Orton can fucking wrestle. Shawn Michaels can fucking wrestle. WrestleMania 20 was two of the greatest in-ring workers of all time, Chris Benoit and Shawn Michaels. They can fucking wrestle. But for some reason, you think that it's not a no-holds-barred match. It's not a Hell in the Cell match. You think that a guy who can barely talk on the mic, who can barely fucking wrestle a 20-minute match in Roman Reigns, is going to give you a world title match at WrestleMania with Triple fucking H?
And the thing is, WrestleMania is meant to be like the grand stage of or the showcase of the Immortals, the granddaddy of them all this other shit.
Stage of them all and all that.
The thing is, WrestleMania used to fucking be a big deal. I remember before going to WrestleMania every year. I mean, hell, I can't believe that this year coming up will be my 12th WrestleMania in a row.
Right.
That's fucking mind-blowing.
Yeah,
I can't
that's
believe
awesome,
I've done
dude.
it. But the thing is, I bitch about wrestling, but then I get excited to go mainly for the trip to hang out with you guys and do whatever. But I just remember as a kid, okay, even as a teenager, because I've been going since I was 17, so prior to that, I remember, like, the build-up to WrestleMania was so important to me. I would, like, dedicate the entire day. Like, I would get up, I would do whatever I had to do, and I'd play the games, I'd reread all the shit online, I'd get ready for the matches, I'd have the pay-per-view ordered, I'd fucking count it down. Like, and it was a huge fucking deal to me. Everything about wrestling used to be a huge fucking deal to me. Before I met you at college, I used to go to B-dubs and watch every pay-per-view here at home. Mm-hmm. Like, I've been essentially caught up. I've essentially seen every pay-per-view for the last, like, 11 years. I've been really watching it. But when you take away the pomp and circumstance of WrestleMania to like placate your ego just to prove, oh, I'm not wrong, like you're fucking your product up in the long term. For example, Kurt Angle was the WWF champion in 2001. He beat The Rock at No Way Out. Or not No Way Out. He beat The Rock at No Mercy.
Yep.
The Rock beat him at No Way Out. But the thing is, like, they knew for business that Rock Stone Cold was the big money draw. So they took the belt off Kurt Angle. Roman Reigns Triple H was not a big money draw. It was the inevitable fucking disease that we all knew was coming, and nobody fucking wanted it.
But even going off of that, in 2000, 2001, 2002, every angle was built. So it wasn't just the underdog side with Stone Cold Steve Austin at that point, where he comes back, he wins the Rumble again, he faces his enemy in The Rock. That both sides. So you go to 17, the greatest WrestleMania of all time. Both sides of that mountain were built. The challenger and the champion. Stone Cold is coming back to redeem himself, to win what he lost. The Rock is the people's champion. We want him to be champion. Can he hold off Stone Cold Steve? Both sides are held up by great storytelling. With this year, Roman Reigns has by far one of the worst builds for a champion of all time. He doesn't win the Rumble on his own. He doesn't, he isn't even the best member of his faction to fucking win a world title. He can't even defend his title at a Royal Rumble, let alone from an old dude who was a big deal 10 years ago. But somehow he's the fucking challenger. Even so, your champion is fucking almost 40 years. Both sides of the championship match aren't well built. That didn't happen 10, 15 years ago. That wasn't the case. Every angle of each story, the challenger and the champion, the challenger and the mid-card champion, the good guy versus the bad guy, both sides were built so well. And now they throw whoever they want to win, that's the guy who's built better. And the guy who's going to lose is kind of thrown in there as just the bad guy.
And Dion, you were talking about these bad builds. That's why we're stuck with resorting to Triple H in the last moment.
Exactly.
Because, if you want Roman Reigns, I don't know why you would want Roman Reigns as the guy. He doesn't epitomize what wrestling stands for. He epitomizes what Vince McMahon stands for. That's a strong physique, and that's it. I mean, Vince McMahon liked guys like Lex Luger. And, I'm sorry, Lex Luger, that you're paralyzed and that, you have made bad decisions and stuff. I'm not making fun of you when you're down, but Lex Luger was not that great of a wrestler. He was okay, and man, he was a shit talker. Diesel was better than Roman Reigns, but he's still not the greatest. I mean, these guys that Vince gets behind are for all the wrong reasons. I mean, had Seth Rollins not been injured, I would have liked a Seth Rollins, I don't know, Dean Ambrose WrestleMania main event. You want a story? The fucking feud finally culminates with, Dean Ambrose coming out on top.
Well,
And to go off your WrestleMania thing, WrestleMania is all but fucking pointless this year. Nothing big happened.
Yep.
The most exciting moment was Zack Ryder winning the belt. We got rid of it the next night on Raw. Everyone's going on with this Divas Revolution with the new women's title belt. And then they all bitch about Sasha Banks losing. Which, by the way, I don't think Sasha Banks is that great.
No,
I don't care if we get a million thumbs down. But you know what? The girl dressed up like Eddie Guerrero. That doesn't make her a great fucking wrestler.
But again, she's not a great wrestling character, and it drives me crazy that being a great character and being a great wrestling character are two different things. Just because you are a good character that sells posters and programs does not mean that you're good for wrestling. Sasha Banks, her becoming champion has been boring. That you didn't do it at WrestleMania, which again I understand, but you think that just doing it during the summer is gonna you can't turn a marketing ploy into a wrestling champion.
Hey, dude, let's talk about, you said about wrestling character and wrestler, two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the perfect culmination of that. Kurt Angle.
Yes.
Olympic level wrestler.
Yes.
Arguably the best wrestler to ever step in the ring. great character, had an actual character.
Yes.
He would come out, talk shit about the cities, the holier than thou, it's true. It evolved into the wrestling machine. I mean, Kurt Angle had a fucking character arc. Every wrestler used to have one. Somebody as simple as the fucking Kaientai, Funaki, and Taka, they evolved into, like, you know, they went from their stupid, I choppy, your PP shit, to the fucking Indeed. Like, they all had shit. Even the Right to Censor. For as annoying as fuck as they were, my God, they all had stories. They all had reasons. Like, you got to see the Godfather become conflicted after he lost. And then you saw him truly turn to the dark side when he powerbombed Victoria through the table. Each week, there was a little bit of storytelling for each fucking wrestler. Now, I love Dolph Ziggler. He's one of my top 5 favorite guys in the company right now. What the fuck has he done all year? It is July 1st as we record this right now. What the fuck has Dolph Ziggler done at all? There is nothing that Dolph Ziggler has done storyline. There's nothing he's achieved.
Got his ass beat by Triple H. That's it.
Yeah, and that's not a story fucking element. Any other wrestler, if we go back to the year 2000, within 7 months, their character is completely different from where they were 7 months ago, and it's usually for the better. The only person that kind of stagnated, and this isn't a popular opinion, is Stone Cold. For as much as I do like Stone Cold and understand how important he was to wrestling, he really kind of plateaued about 1999, and his injury kind of helped wrestling because I feel like he was getting boring. So him being injured brought in Triple H and The Rock to do the main event thing, and then Stone Cold came back. And sadly, Stone Cold kind of never reached the same level that he was at.
Right, no. I mean, I think that's a difficult one because, you know, who knows what they would have went with had he not gotten injured. You know, my whole thing was if he hadn't gotten injured, we would have had an invasion that we deserved. But
I say we would have had Triple H versus Stone Cold at WrestleMania 2000, The Rock versus The Undertaker, and I firmly believe The Rock would have beat The Undertaker in the year 2000 if The Undertaker wasn't injured because... I know this is holy ground to tread on, but wrestling fans, if you weren't watching the whole time, the Undertaker streak wasn't really a big deal or mentioned until about WrestleMania 18 when the Undertaker did his Big 10 thing. He had
exactly.
at 17, but not until WrestleMania 21.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's when they really started harping on selling the fucking...
Ric Flair was the only reason that streak became... You know, mainstream. I mean, obviously, it was Randy Orton at 21 that he faced, but it wasn't until, like you said, he did the 10 count thing against Ric Flair that anyone really cared about it. And the only difference between that I have with that, I think that we still would have got Triple H, The Rock at 2000, but we would have had Stone Cold, Undertaker at 2000 had he not been injured, which would have been, you know, a pretty. I mean, I don't know if Stone Cold would have won, but that still would have been a great 1-2 punch for the pre-main, you know, leading up to the main event, and then Stone Cold or The Rock for Triple H at 2000 would have.
What I can surmise though about Steve Austin is if he wasn't in the main event, he wasn't having anything else, and that's why he kind of walked out in 2002.
Oh yeah, that was.
And I look at watch. I mean, like I said, I've been watching a lot of old shit. Going back to '99. By mid '99, Rock and Stone Cold were getting equal pops. We're talking. Yep. Like fucking earth-shattering, holy shit, you know, it's the Beatles type of pop. People don't want to acknowledge that. A lot of these wrestling podcasts and other shows just keep perpetuating the whole stereotype. Stone Cold was the guy for so long. He's the Attitude Era.
He had such a small... And you know, especially you knowing me, I am a huge Stone Cold fan. You know, he did not have the mantle for that long at all. And even, you know, and obviously, again, you know, being a huge Rock fan, you know, second to Stone Cold, you know, it's easy for me to say... Yeah, The Rock was the dude who... There's no argument anyone could give us that The Rock wasn't the man at the point that Stone Cold was gone. Stone Cold never retrieved that mantle when he came. Even at 17, The Rock was the dude that people wanted to win at 17.
And the only reason The Rock didn't get a huge pop at 17 is because they were in Texas.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Look at look at The Rock. Okay. You wanted to bring this up about Stone Cold's mantle or his time on top being so short. Realistically, he wasn't the guy until WrestleMania 14. So that's March of 1998. By mid-1999, so we're talking one count. Let's say June of '99. The Rock was getting equal big pops As the year progressed, and The Rock moved close, even after The Rock wasn't champion anymore, and he wasn't in the main event, he was being like mid-card, oh not mid-card, middle of the show, he was getting equally big pops, he was feuding with Triple H, Undertaker, he was doing a ton of shit. Stone Cold was off fucking around with Vince McMahon still. And by the time Stone Cold was hit, even before that, Stone Cold wasn't like getting the biggest pop. So I'd say even before Stone Cold got hit by the car, his star was slowly going down. Him being hit only further cemented The Rock's status. Triple H was never number 2, ever.
No, he was just...
Even when Stone Cold was gone, he was still higher on the card than Triple H.
Well, still, because Triple H has always been the guy who fought the guy. He was never the guy.
Yep.
So even when Triple H was gone, even when they brought him in to fill the void that they thought Rikishi could fill, it was because he was eventually going to go against Stone Cold or the fucking Rock. It wasn't like he could hold that mantle as the ultimate bad guy at the end. He just, even though, Paul Levesque could talk well on the mic, he's not that fucking guy. He can't put it on in the ring. He can't put it on, as much as The Rock or Stone Cold could do. He never could do it.
And those two dudes weren't even like the most technical wrestlers. If you want to be honest, The Rock and Stone Cold were very brawler-esque. Now, there was a level of intensity that they brought to the ring, and I feel like with The Rock especially, he sold his matches before the match even started. Before that bell hit, The Rock had sold you on the match, the electricity, the energy, the crowd was into it. If you want the perfect example of The Rock selling a match in like a sentence, go back and watch No Way Out 2001, where he goes, tick-tock, tick-tock, Kurt Angle, your time as WWF champ are over, and then he just walks to the ring. That sold that match right there, and the match went on to deliver. I don't think The Rock, let's just talk title matches, with the exception of his match against John Cena, who were that's the reason we're talking about these good guys, to compare and contrast against these shitty guys, or these great guys, that, the Rock, Stone Cold, they never had bad matches. I mean, even when you had Rikishi in the fucking main event heel position, The Rock was able to salvage something. Stone Cold was able to do that too with a lot of dudes. Like, I know you don't like this, but like Kane, when Kane came in and was feuding with Stone Cold in mid-98, like, he wasn't the Kane that he became.
Oh, hell no. He couldn't. He was just... Those matches were so boring.
Yeah, it was just, I'm big. I'm going to lumber around the ring, and I'm not going to fall. I'm just going to, that... Okay, Kane's a perfect example of character over wrestler. Like,
right. Well, at least for those early years, because...
And I gotta give him credit, though. His character evolved up until...
2000 to about 2000 and... Because when did he beat Mysterio for the top? 2009?
I was gonna say, Kane's been unbearable for the last about 6 years.
Oh, easily from at least 2010.
I hate to use this example. Ever since he got rid of Slow Chemical... he's lacked the intensity. His character doesn't have that cool factor. I was against Kane losing his mask, but I gotta say, the storyline with Shane McMahon was really good. The storyline with The Undertaker was really good. The storyline with fucking Lita and Snitsky, while not classic wrestling, was fucking fun and memorable. Yeah. It's 12 years ago. I'm still talking about it.
Well, even when, like I said, when he won Money in the Bank and cashed it in, and he had that resurgence of, rivalry with The Undertaker, the matches weren't that great, but that's arguably my favorite Kane, when he was just cutting promos on SmackDown for 10 minutes. That was awesome. But that's a perfect example of even then in 2010, 2011, they can't even do that with Roman Reigns. He can't go and cut a promo for 10 minutes. He can't go into the ring and grab a microphone and just talk for a couple minutes to get people into, this is why I like him, this is why I don't like him. He can't, in going back to the whole Rock thing, which is why I think that they associate him with Rock a lot. Was The Rock technical? No, but The Rock was so athletic. If you want to see a perfect example of Rock's athleticism, for me, is their match, his triple threat match at Vengeance against Kurt Angle and The Undertaker. That's probably the most athletic that I've seen him ever. He's jumping around, he's going from Angle to Taker. There's a moment where it's just him and Angle in the ring while The Undertaker's out in the silent. He's so athletic that he doesn't have to be super technical. And Roman Reigns, that's another reason why Roman Reigns is another mark against him. He's not even athletic enough to just be athletic in the ring. He can't have 4, 5, 6, 7 moves and just make him look really good. He has to fucking draw it out. He has to fucking take his time. He has to get German suplexed 6 or 7 times before he finally does something. He's not athletic enough or compelling enough to wrestle as the WWE champion.
No, and when he represents your company, he's supposed to be the high watermark.
Mm-hmm.
And in my opinion, he's so low. Like, what does that say about everyone else on the card? This has been my problem with Cena. This is when I really started to hate Cena. Everyone, and I guess this is technically the right phrase to use, but it's not politically correct, but everyone's been retarded so Cena can actually seem so, good.
Mm-hmm.
When you have to regress, like, okay, there's a story out there that Kurt Angle, Kurt Angle had his drug issues and quit, but I understood that Kurt Angle, wasn't going to job to Cena because Cena was such a shit wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
And Cena is a shit wrestler. I don't know why he was ever pegged as the guy. He was compelling when he was like the street thug, doing the basic thugonomics, even up until the Time Is Now theme song. Like, Cena was cool up until about WrestleMania 21. And then he lost his character and he became a vanilla something. He was a Marine, he was a thug, he talks about hustling. Like, what is John Cena? This whole episode really is about wrestling characters. Like, who are these people? What are they? Like, okay, let's play a game. You name a wrestler from the Attitude Era, I'll name one, and we'll try to describe them in 3 or 4 words. So, pick somebody for me.
Billy Gunn.
All right. Flashy dude. Sexual, and I don't mean that in like a weird way, like I'm checking him out, but like, he's very egocentric about his ass.
Yep.
That was his character. As weird as it sounds, that was a character trait. But he was also a tough dude. And, he was a tough dude. He was into his ass and kind of, like, egotistical. But he wasn't afraid to jump you from behind. Like, he could fight you up front, but he would definitely hide if he had to.
Right. Okay. No, that's fair.
So do you think those, like, couple descriptors, like, tell his character?
Oh, yeah. For sure. Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, wrestler for you. I will give you... I was going to pick somebody obvious, but that's... you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to go say it. Val Venus.
Oh, man. I think you could definitely go with the whole sexual thing. I guess the best phrase would be flamboyant. The dude was passable as a wrestler. He could at least get in the ring and with someone that was decent, he could wrestle. And then 2, he was entertaining. He would either say something funny, or then he would say something interesting enough for you to give a shit. I mean, the dude was, if not a champion, the guy was entertaining on every facet of. He could talk, he could wrestle, and then his in-between mannerisms and what he would do and say were either funny or compelling enough.
And here's two parallels I'll draw between Billy Gunn and Val Venus. Both had finishing moves with unique names, unique to them. Billy Gunn became Mr. Ass, he had the fame asser.
Mm-hmm.
Val Venus was a porn star, he had the money shot.
Mm-hmm.
Nice play on, double
Right.
entendre. The shit, each character used to be like a complete package. Everything was thought out, from the ring gear, to the fucking merchandise they sold, to the promos they would cut. Like, back in the day, from what I can surmise, they would give you like a general idea, like, this is your character, what would you say in that case? And a lot of guys in the Attitude Era really figured out who their character was fast.
Right.
Val Venus, he figured out his character. The Road Dogg, my God, he was such like a wimpy little dude, but my God, did he bring so much energy to the fucking...
He was the voice of DX. Say what you want about Triple H, but Road Dogg was the guy. At the very least, he could grab a microphone and fucking get you to repeat the shit that he said.
Triple H has never cut a truly great promo. He's cut good promos, but I would never in my life say Triple H has cut a great promo, because, to paraphrase The Rock, Triple H is, I'm the gamer. Talk for 20 minutes. I'm gonna beat your ass. That's really the brunt of every Triple H promo.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, somebody's in the comments going to go, "Well, the Rock's promos were all the same." No, he started it with his catchphrase because not many people had a starting catchphrase for a promo, and he ended a certain way. Everything in between was different.
Mm-hmm.
He used to either talk about the cities and write promos around that. Mankind, oh man, Mick Foley had some of the best promos ever.
He was awesome.
And you know what? He was another unique character. He was a crazy hardcore dude in terrible shape. But my God, he cut great.
Well, even when he was feuding with The Rock, I mean, that's probably my favorite era of Mick Foley because he would just like talk like a dude who literally finally made it and was willing to do. You believed that Mick Foley was willing to do whatever it fucking took, especially. And he carried that into, the next, I think one of a guy like Triple H can be surmised in three guys that he faced: Rock, Austin, and Mankind. My favorite Mankind being when he and Triple H were going into Hell in a Cell, and you have, when he's like, yeah, I don't remember when they had, was it Last Man Standing? Or no, I quit. I don't remember saying I quit, whatever. And then he becomes Cactus Jack. And he's just like, I will do whatever it fucking he would say something and you believed it. No one, you don't have that anymore. Mick Foley, people forget how good he was on the mic, but you believed what he fucking said.
Oh, God, yeah. And I'll tell you, the scariest moment for me ever in wrestling was when he was in the I Quit match. He goes, "You're going to have to kill me." I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
Is somebody going to die in a wrestling ring? Yeah, I was younger, but that, back then, you believed that some shit would go down because, like they used to say, anything can happen in the WWF. Nothing happens in the WWE. I mean, you got, every week, Raw starts out with the same shitty theme song. Michael Cole going, "Welcome to episode 1223, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
And Michael Cole, on another topic, my God, the commentary team is fucking garbage nowadays. You didn't watch Raw? Thank God. The fucking commentary team is a goddamn joke. I mean, half the time it makes you wish that they all had heart attacks like Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
There are so many more talented people out there that could call a good wrestling match. Get some dudes from the fucking indies to call it. This is the formula for wrestling commentation that you need, or commentary. You need a play-by-play guy who knows every fucking move, who knows wrestling, who loves wrestling. You basically need a new JR. Then you need another guy that can either be a heel or face commentator that kind of just plays color commentary. That's all you need. You don't need a three-man booth. You don't need a fucking robot like Byron Saxton. You don't need a fucking parrot like JBL. And you don't need a bitch like Michael Cole.
See, and my whole thing is this. Wrestling right now needs something new, right? So it's not just going back to what's old, but follow the formula that worked in the Attitude Era, but just bring it 20 years in the future. So for me, Michael Cole is still capable. When he and JBL and King called the match at WrestleMania 28 between Triple H and Undertaker, that was a small refresher of the fact that Michael Cole, or him and JR and King called that match at 28. That was a small refresher in that Michael Cole can call a match. He can do this. You need someone to fucking spark that natural ability to talk about a wrestling match. And for me, I've said this for years now. They need to bring back Todd Grisham to do commentary.
You like that guy that much?
If anything, ECW was shit. He was one of the only things I like about ECW. But when he cut that promo before he went to do the fucking WWE.com bullshit, when he cut that crazy awesome promo where he's like, "I was the only guy to call a pay-per-view by myself. No one's done it before then. No one's done it since. I did that shit." And I'm just like, his voice is very nasally, but the dude, Todd Grisham knew his fucking, not Todd Grisham, but fuck,
Matt Striker?
The dude that did ECW stuff for the longest time.
Oh, Joey Styles?
Bring back Joey Styles.
Yeah, I love Joey Styles. I'm with you on that. I was like, Todd Grisham was okay.
Yeah, I fucking forgot that shit, but bring back Joey Styles. That dude, you need someone who's old enough that we recognize him, but is good enough to fucking usher in this is why commentary is so important to wrestling.
You need a good story. These wrestlers need a reason to be fighting, okay? I don't want just, they're here because they're two popular guys and they got a feud. No. You can make a good feud out of any two Robert Bills.
Exactly.
So you need that. You need a solid work ethic in the ring. Either you need to be athletic or super technical or a combination. I mean, Enzo and Cass, they're awesome, but they sell you on their awesomeness on the mic.
Yep.
Then you got a guy like The Miz who's okay on the mic, not that great in the ring, and just never tells a good story ever. He's kind of like the most vanilla wrestler you could think of. What the fuck? The recording just stopped.
What?
Yeah, it just said recording finished. What the fuck is happening with my computer? That's weird. It recorded us talking the whole time and then it just stopped. I guess we'll end it there?
I guess, yeah. I mean...
It's just going to end with me saying, and The Miz is so vanilla.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just...
because it'd probably be a pain in the ass to combine two different recordings.
I mean, I can't... I just want to know what happened. I was just... No, what the fuck is happening on my computer? I did not click any of this shit. I'm just sitting here. I was trying to close out... I had Windows Movie Maker open.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to close it, and then all of a sudden my program stopped responding. And that damn picture of you is still up on Skype. I thought we were going into some really deep shit.
No, I thought it was going very well, dude.
Let me just try to fix my computer real quick. Oh, this is retarded. Fucking Google. Come the fuck on. I just want to close out this goddamn video. I wasn't even watching a video.
God damn it, man. If it's up to you. If you think you can combine, a second half, or you just want to end it there, that's cool.
I mean, I can literally combine it, because this video will end, and we'll just keep talking, and it'll take... Because, like last week's show, when people call in, like when you called in later, it re-recorded, so I spliced it together and nobody knew. It really just takes a few seconds. I only bitch on the podcast so I can get everyone to get
No, for sure. I know. Yeah.
Because it's just like, come on, guys, we're almost prepared. But man, god damn, I thought this is like 2 good episodes in one.
Seriously, it was going really well. I was trying to make sure I wasn't rambling, but I thought it was going really well.
I think what we were doing is we were going in depth about a topic, explaining it, and then we were comparing it. I think I'm going to just title this episode Ring Rust Episode 2, the John Cena and Roman Reigns Failed Experiment, or just something like that.
No, for sure. I like.
And that'll be a catchy enough title. Okay, that closed. That was retarded. Let me just... I did not hit stop one single time. I'm going to call you right back.
All right, deal.
Okay? Close. Putting a call. Okay. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it says it's recording a call and all this other shit, but you didn't pop up until I said, "Are you there?" So, okay, cool. So I was talking about The Miz. We'll start in like, I don't remember where we were going. Do you remember?
Yeah, we were talking about how.
Well, then, if you want to just start talking.
I was saying athletic,
like you were,
The Rock being athletic, and then you were saying that the Miz is a very vanilla wrestler.
Okay, I'll start in a second. Yeah, The Miz is so vanilla, and that's a problem with a lot of other people. Like I said before, man, if you go back 15, 16 years, everybody on the roster had something unique. Everybody was a great character. Nowadays, like, who the fuck is, like, remember 3MB?
Yeah.
I know they were a 3-man band that had a thing, but, like, they never progressed. I get it that they were, like, these jobber dudes, but even the jobbers back in the day, like, I don't know, even Al Snow's ass had
Yeah.
storylines and arcs and emotions. Like, remember that time he feuded with The Rock?
Yeah, dude. Well, and even then, his feud with Mankind, with Mick Foley, you know, when they broke up as a tag team and they were just doing fucking crazy shit to each other, you know, and Mick Foley's like, I don't even want to fucking smell you. You know, that was, and I think that, you know, going back to the 3MB thing, you know, Raw nowadays has a 3-hour show. You can't even give your smallest factions time on the show to prove why we should watch them. And then you wonder why they don't work.
Like, okay, you're talking about the 3-hour format. That's a good topic to talk about. One, you have to have these constant commercial breaks in your matches. They didn't do commercial breaks until about 04 in the middle of matches. Because JR used to go, we've taken all our commercial breaks, we're going to see this one to the end. And it would be excited. Like, there's no big fight feel to anything in wrestling anymore, not even WrestleMania. So, and then Raw is so dumb, it's commercial. I get it, you have to have commercials on TV. I can't, I understand that. But then you got all these vignettes that go nowhere. You got these stupid promos. They advertise for shit in the show. And my God, stop fucking taking the camera in front of the commentators to try to promote something. That's the shit. The commentators really need to be fucking invisible.
Right.
Show them at the beginning, put their name on screen, and then don't fucking go to them anymore. These three commentators have dick all to say. There's nothing good that ever comes out of their mouth besides see you next week.